best team in our group that possibly will make it to the tournament. And then you're like, you know what? It was just because Rampage needed some ramp up time. They didn't understand the meta. You can start saying they're really individually skilled and can adapt. But no, you always want those bragging rights. You always want those what ifs. But if Rampage get completely swept, then that's one of those things where it's a little more embarrassing and you're there to try and learn. And that's kind of what they were saying on the desk. You have two options here if you're Rampage. Comfort, to get vicious, take the gloves off, be really aggressive, go after Supermassive, no holds bar, with the fact that they don't play well early. Crush them. Just go in there. Right. Or you take this as an opportunity to play something meta, to play the style that you've been seeing so far internationally, and have another chance to learn to get yourself ready for international competition again in the future.
I agree with Vedius. I want to see some creativity. I want to see Rampage just live up to their names and tear this game apart. We'll have to see if they can do it, as they are up against an undefeated opponent in Supermassive. But Supermassive did just come off of playing a game, so it's not like they have a break. Maybe they're fatigued, right? Maybe there's a little bit of exhaustion there. We're just drumming up ideas as we are into Champion Select.
I like the bans.
The bans are done.
Caitlyn.
Yep, Caitlyn and Ashe, along with Ivern, taken off the table by Rampage. Supermassive removing Varus, Syndra, and Lee Sin from the eligible champion pool.
I like the Caitlyn and the Ashe being taken away. Means that these two champions from Zeitnot that have been so potent are now gone. The Caitlyn, the traps were just destroying the previous game with the Dire Wolves. So they saw that, want to take that away, and now they lock in something very early for Zeitnot with the Lucian.
Lucian picked up at the start. Zyrene, I know I've told you this before, just hanging around at the office. I love watching this champion. Yeah. This is one of my absolute favorite AD carries from a viewing perspective because he's so flashy, he's so cool, he has so much outplay potential.
Yeah. And that's the thing is he's got to outplay because his range is 500, so he has to play within threat range of all mages and really just dodge and have very little protection. There may be a Lulu that comes through for him, but the Graves being picked up no longer has the MR on his True Grit, so the Elise coming in as the counter is fine. And then I like the fact that if they go with the LeBlanc here, sets up kind of what Supermassive were just playing themselves.
Sort of going to mirror what Supermassive did before. Say, hey, you guys won with it. Maybe we can use it to beat you.
Yeah, see how that works.
It works. One more pick to go for Supermassive before we hit the second half of the bans here. What are they going to accompany these two ranged attackers with? And it's going to be Galio.
I like it. Galio, banned twice today, has not been seen at all, aside from that, so far in these first three matches. So now we'll see the Galio. Could be support, could be top lane, could even be mid lane. Galio, quite flexible. Has been played in 4 roles.
And you know, talking about what you were mentioning with Lucian having to be in threat range, having to outplay, having to be mobile, it really helps him too if he has this massive 40+% damage mitigation coming on top of him as Galio creates this crater around him, removing the possibility for Rampage players to threaten him for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, the damage reduction that he gives with his ultimate really can be deceiving because it's so hard to read in that first moment if that person's going to die to your burst or not. And Lucian's actually a little bit deceptive in terms of his tankiness as an AD carry. He has the Blade of the Ruined King healing, but then he also has the Black Cleaver, which was given about 100 more health previously. So he is not a squishy AD carry and has to play pretty far up, which does help the Galio engage.
Right, his champion archetype is marksman, but at the same time he builds like a bruiser, more so. Not going for those typical crit items out the gate, but instead the type of fighter items that you would normally see, traditionally see from something more like a top laner. As we head into the second part of the bans, Supermassive saying, all right, you don't have an AD carry yet? Well, we're going to take a couple of those off the table. Kog'Maw and Ezreal removed from the pool, while Rampage target the supports and get rid of Lulu and Nami.
Yeah, still have Malzahar, still have Zyra. 2 things that could be picked and actually have a winning lane here. The Karma, not going to be under too much pressure, but it is something that actually, I would take that back. She would be under pressure in the Zyra matchup for sure. But now you got to think about what your AD carry is. Ashe, Caitlyn, Varus, Ezreal, Kog'Maw, all gone, as well as the Lucian taken away. So Jhin kind of jumps up there.
Now this is one that I'm a little bit concerned about because Jhin really hit a bad spot after Blade of the Ruined King got buffed because Blade of the Ruined King became the item for AD carries. And because of his whole I can't use attack speed for attack speed mechanism, Jhin is one of the only AD carries that can't benefit from the item, and he's matched up against who is arguably the best user of the item in the game.
Yeah, that's true. Lucian has been played in multiple roles as well. Has been played top, or sorry, has been played mid. Hooney's been playing it top in solo queue apparently. So we may see some flexing, but I still think, like you said, because Blade of the Ruined King is so good, it's the reason why we're seeing him in so many different places. The Poppy locked in as a possible counter to the Galio can block the E, the charge in from the Galio with the W of the Poppy, the Steadfast Presence.
Plus the Galio dash is so telegraphed. There's no way you can be like, oh, I hope he can press Steadfast Presence in time.
Yeah.
Well, if he's not asleep at the keyboard, he's going to be able to block that dash.
Yeah, Galio really can't escape from the Poppy, and he forces him to build armor early instead of MR, where if that's something like a Nautilus top, then you're building magic resistance on the Galio, and you're having a good time against the LeBlanc and the Elise. Right. So now their damage palette a little bit more diversified.
Well, the final pick on the side of Supermassive is going to be some more AP for their team as well. Mid Echo, the last piece of the puzzle for this team who's looking to find their 5th win and make that last game against the Red Canids later on today be the one that will ultimately and potentially seal their fate as the team that moves on from Group A. But Rampage, like we said, man, the team from Japan, the team representing their country on the international stage, Japan, a region, that in the past just hasn't been able to have these opportunities. So this is Rampage's chance to say, hey, this is what Japan is made of. And like you mentioned at the start of Champion Select, they would love to get a win here, not walk away with that 0-6 score from their first trip to the play-ins.
Yep. And as we see these two compositions, both have 1-3-1 properties with their mid laners most likely taking teleport as they load in. And the top lane, this is where the difference is, because Supermassive, their top lane and jungle, damage focused, but also collapse. So I would call this a 1-3-1 potential with collapse and some pick and siege. Whereas Rampage, I wouldn't call it as much collapse. It's a little more 1-3-1 with pick with the Elise and the Jhin to start fights off.
Thundersticks are booming and the crowd is ready. Remember, even if you're not Brazil, the Brazilian team will cheer for, the Brazilian fans, I should say, will cheer for you against Supermassive, because this is the team that must fall for the Red Canids to be victorious in Group A.
Right now, 5 members from Supermassive running straight to the bottom side of the map here.
This could be a very interesting situation.
Remember, Dumbledoge actually stood on the outside, but he's the Zyra, so I think you'd actually stand as close as possible, and this could be something that catches him off guard. We'll see.
They don't want to be hit by the inner flame if they can help it.
Yeah. They ward it, and actually RPG staying around. Dumbledoge hasn't ranked the E up yet, and that was
walk away. Okay.
All right.
They get tagged by the inner flame, and they decide, nope, we're walking out.
Interesting. It looks like, I feel like they had an opportunity there from Supermassive to actually...
Well, they may have thought that there were more Rampage players in the brush, and since they already took so much from the inner flame...
they warded it, though.
Maybe they thought they were slightly further away from the brush. I don't know. Maybe they were just really concerned.
This could be a face check, though. Because they got the top side priority, now Stomage has to face check this. They're going to wait for the Galio, and this will be a bloody start to the game here, as we'll have 3 walking into 3.
Brace yourselves for battle. It's a level 1 3v3. Fabulous checking the brush. Evie going to be bursted low. Damage coming out. Now you have the flash over the wall. The auto attack will take him down. The smite onto the camp, getting away over the wall. Stomaged somehow persists and walks away with a nice first blood in the graves.
Yeah, a lot of AoE damage coming through there. You saw Naru throughout the Time Winder, and then you have the Graves just popping auto attacks into guys, whereas Fabulous taking the Winds of War and hitting multiple people, really just put them off on a great foot. And the fact that Stomage doesn't even
go back.
I mean, Graves takes very little damage. You usually don't have to use your potion in the jungle at all.
I mean, yeah, if you have proper Graves mechanics and you know the way to deal with the camps.
Yeah, right there, Winds of War, so much damage. And then Naru needed one more auto, so if he flash autos, that's fine. Stomage, same thing, just walks up, chases, and then such a good smite to get some HP back there. He does have to back, though, after the camp, so tried the red, attempted it, didn't have enough knockback, didn't have enough HP.
Well, he still gets himself back, picks up that longsword. Even though it delays his pathing a little bit, I'm sure he'll be more than content to take the first blood in exchange for that. Also getting assists from both his solo laners for a little bit of extra gold into their pockets.
Absolutely, because you also know Tussle had to go through the same thing. Tussle had a bad start because he got chunked out too, and then it delayed him from his route, no leash, etc. Ramune looking for some damage on Naru, but not going to find exactly what he wants. Oh. Bouncing, dancing grenade, hitting.
And it's what we mentioned on day 1 when we saw these two teams go head-to-head. You've got the rookie and Ramune versus Naru, the quote-unquote best Turkish player who's been to every TCL final. So a pretty big difference in track record between these two going into these matches.
Has been quite inconsistent lately, and I think the best Turkish player title has gone over to Zeitnot. But like you said, Naru with the experience, that's the main point. He has the experience, been internationally, been to all the finals, and Ramone just finishing up his first split. There's definitely a big difference there in terms of how much they've played.
How much experience you've got, especially on stages like this. Supermassive, a team that we've seen in previous international competition levels. Compared to this new Japanese team that we were talking about just moments ago, this is their first time representing their country and their region. Not used to playing on these types of stages. Double doge.
Flashes just in case there's a flash there, because you saw Yutori had that fourth shot.
Right.
Kind of getting lined up.
Make sure that that was not a possibility. Errs on the side of caution. That's always one way to do it. Make sure your opponents don't get some of that surprise factor in on you. Stomaged in the enemy jungle, prowling around as that Graves. Ramone forced to jump away from Naru's Echo. Stomaged still just hanging around, wondering if that Elise is going to show up around here somewhere.
On the other side, though.
Doesn't matter if he's got some sort of an MR nerf or whatever. He's not really afraid of it at this point in time.
Yeah, right now, Zeitnot and Dumbledoge actually both struggling in this bottom lane. Look at this, though.
Oh,
Tussle
boy.
hanging out in the bottom side.
Stomaged goes over the wall with the blast cone and
Sees him.
finds Tussle. Hits both parts of the end of the line, sidesteps the cocoon, a little bit more damage, and bang, bang, right in the face with the shotgun. Stomaged, 2-0.
Tussle was not expecting that at all. He kind of snuck in, and then Stomage with the ward over the wall to see him. And it really took Tussle off guard, but Stomage was completely ready to dodge the cocoon.
Naru gets smacked around a little bit there, getting aggressive onto Ramune.
Yep.
But a LeBlanc with no mana is a big fancy caster minion with a cape. So she's got to go back to base and fix that problem here real quick.
Yeah, both teleports already been used by the mid laners, though. So we're seeing now CS discrepancies starting to manifest. The bottom lane had a bit up there for Yutori.
Meanwhile, Fabulous showing Evie exactly how potent Galio's wave clear is.
Yeah, well, Galio already got to back once and teleport, whereas Evie had to use his to get back the lane after dying level 1. And now, Stomage, this is going to come back to him. Evie,
going to fight again. Might not be able to make it happen this time. 1v2, too tall of an order, even for the double kill Graves. Not to mention the fact that he's gone with Tracker's Knife. Tussle has that Skirmisher Saber, gave him extra power in that duel.
Yep. And now he's going to cover the top side as Evie backs. And his first purchase of the game with that assist.
Dumbledoge clearing out some wards. Dara not being able to do a whole lot about it. Lots of minions here for Zeitnot to farm up. A little bit behind, as you can see, in terms of farm, but once all those minions are picked up, which you should have no issue dealing with, it'll be closer than it looks right now.
And the crowd definitely behind the Japanese team, hoping for some upsets here.
And that's the name of the game, right? If you can't cheer for your own guys, you cheer against the guys that have the chance to beat them.
Exactly. And Yutori's been doing a great job here. Once again, 10 CS up for himself with this Jhin, and he pulled a lot of bans. They even took their AD carry first pick for themselves on the side of Supermassive, try and keep Zeitnot on meta.
And by the way, even though Supermassive has a kill advantage right now and there's no objectives on the board, the gold lead is actually just dead even between these two. It's not even a gold lead, it's just a gold count. This neck and neck back and forth.
Yeah, jungle a little bit ahead there. Also in the AD carry position. And also we see a Frostfang for Dara, so he's getting a little bit more gold for himself.
Got Fabulous again with the Winds of War. Tossing those out onto Evie with the Spectre's Cow to keep himself alive and healthy in this lane.
Yeah, Galio has some mana problems, so getting some early Doran's rings, just like you do on Gragas and Nautilus, is exactly what you should be doing. And these mid laners, looks like it might be revolvers for both of them early on. One for a Proto Belt for Naru, and the other for the eventual Hextech Gunblade. Down bottom, though, we do see both junglers hovering around this area again. And this is such a interesting matchup because you think back to the matchup that they had previously with Supermassive and Rampage. back on day one.
Ooh, Cullen coming out.
So much damage.
Yeah, Yutori forced to pop both summoner spells to keep himself alive there. Zeitnot pulling the trigger and showing exactly why Lucian is so strong right now.
Yep, Dumble Doge.
Curtain Call opens up. I don't know what Double Doge is doing, trying to turn things back around onto Tussle, make it a 1-for-1 at least. Repel comes out, Tussle comes down, and end of the line. Will not connect for the second part. Gives that one over to Zeitnot, but Naru, parallel convergence won't save him in time, and Ramune grabs himself a 1v1 kill.
I was just about to talk about this where you think about the matchup that happened the first time. This was where Rampage had 5 kills to 0 at the start of the game. Super massive. The early pressure of Rampage takes them a bit off guard.
Rampage also getting those kills onto their AD carry, onto their mid laner. Right where you want to see them at. Top laners just going blow for blow, hit for hit right now. They will both get incredibly tanky as the game goes on, but for now can still hurt each other.
Ramune, like you said, you'd expect him to be a bit of a caster minion with low mana, but that was a huge chunk. And then the ultimate to clone it, parallel convergence does not help him out there in time.
A mana bar looked low, but it had just enough juice left in the tank to get the job done.
Exactly.
Fabulous. Trying to find the last end of the combo, but can't quite get it. Nice sidestep from Evie. Tussle has really regained his footing in this game as well. After that rough start and the very strong start from Stomage, these two are dead even in terms of gold.
Fabulous looks like he flashed there to try and make a play. I assume it was a flash taunt into combo, but it didn't finish off Evie. You get extra resistances when you're lower.
Part of the trickiness of Poppy, part of why the champion was so popular and so meta for so long. Free stats are an awesome thing to have in League of Legends. Dumble Doge trying to rotate up mid. Doesn't really find the route he's looking for onto Ramune. So Naru doesn't get the opportunity to jump in on it, follow it up at all. Supermassive still down by about 500 gold. Nice jump in there by Naru. Just very quick, but still getting a lot of damage from it. Infernal Drake, the first one on the table again this game. Remember, those are the ones that sometimes you will see teams go sort of off the normal script.
Yeah, they'll go really hard for him. Go really hard, especially when you have something like a Jhin that loves that extra attack damage. And you can also see it's a Warlord's Jhin. The Deathfire touch nerf means that people kind of switch the mastery up on him. Instead of being the 50%, it's now 35% of your bonus AD. So definitely not as effective. And this is now based off of your total AD in terms of lifesteal. And it's doubled on crits too, so you can actually crit for a very healthy amount. And also, Jhin was a champion that never built lifesteal, so kind of gives him a new option.
A little bit of sustainability as the game goes on. Stomage, again, hanging around this bottom lane. You could say the same for Tussle.
Yeah, Ramune also looks like he's making his way down here as Dumble Doge. They know that he has Flash. We'll see if they try to make a play. Yeah, you also have both collapsing. Yeah, Ramune and Tussle here, and there's the curtain call opening up on the side.
Curtain call opens up, but Ramune eats so much damage from the Graves as he tries to make his entrance here. They're not going to find a lot of opportunity really anywhere.
TP. Root on Zeitnot.
Oh, Zeitnot, but the TP is canceled. Okay. Nothing else going to be happening from this one. Fabulous makes his way down, but Evie decides to stay up there in the top side.
Yeah, Naru's going to have some alone time with this turret, and that's going to be teleport from Ramune, who just went back, gets himself a Vampiric Scepter, and Fabulous looking for the taunt, actually going to get it there.
Smacking Tussle around a little bit, keeping him occupied, buying his team more time on this turret. Tier 1, turret first blood, still up and available to get this game. And Supermassive will manage to take it down before Evie can get the top side.
And you hear that. There were no cheers when that turret went down. The crowd is definitely on the side of Rampage.
They want to see him win this one. They want to see Supermassive head to the same record as the Red Canids, because like you said, that makes the next game the one that's Supermassive versus Red Canids. If the Canids can win it, then they will lock #1 without a tiebreaker.
Yep. Oh, getting some roots on Naru.
Chrono break to try to get himself to safety, but Tussle makes his way
in.
The stun. Galio gonna be coming in! A heroic entrance will slam Tussle into the ground.
Oh, you went back!
Ramune goes back and gets himself the kill, though, with style. Makes that one a 1-for-1. Mid laner for jungler.
And that whole time, Evie's been on this top turret. We'll be able to equalize them here. Galio a little too far away, charging to try and get there. But that is going to even that up. And you can see Rampage up 400 gold.
Rampage putting up a fight here in the third game of the day. Making Supermassive work for it. 13 minutes in. Slight leads are still leads. Here's one more look at how that fight went down.
And it's a squishy at least. Hustle, of course, has the runic echoes. And then the root still comes through. And then Double Doge gets a great root, a great follow-up stun, and then the hero's entrance just to smack him into the ground. But then the Shatter Orb and then the auto to finish him off. Really well played there from Ramune, who's keeping his senses about him. 2-0-0 for the guy who just finished his rookie split.
Yeah, doesn't decide to go ahead and go full panic mode when the play turns around and his jungler dies. Instead says, you know, this chain is still connected. The damage proc is going to come through here in just a second. I can pop back and grab the kill. Good sense of awareness coming out from him. Keeps his team ahead in the game. Keeps that from being nothing but a positive for the side of Supermassive. And now Zeitnot has made his way into the mid lane. You're going to start seeing those rotations more now.
Yeah.
Because with that turret first blood down, that means people are freed up to move around a little bit more. Yara going to be Blade of the Ruined King.
Yeah.
Flash over the wall to escape the culling.
You really wanted that ward, but that's one that you didn't have pressure in order to get. And right now, Naru, maybe looking for a play here, has flash. Parallel convergence could line up. Could be a good play. There he's going in.
Chrono Bell comes out. Naru trying to find the damage. Nope. Chrono breaks right back out of town, but Fabulous going to be caught out a little bit here.
The Galio takes almost
into
no
damage. Yeah, they don't hurt him at all. That's very disheartening as the curtain call opens up. Evi's in the front line. The bullets continue to flow through, but the fourth one doesn't hit anyone. Fabulous getting himself out as he realizes that his team's just trying to back up and reset a little bit here. Evie jumping in, slams him into the wall, but the winds of war means the fight's not going on any longer.
Yep, Tussle now running back. And Supermassive, they realize that they have a little bit better siege here. Naru hits the wall.
Slammed into the wall. No chrono break on this guy, remember. That's 1 for 1. Fabulous has to charge himself out to stay alive. Ramune looking for more opportunity here. Keep your eyes on this guy as the game goes on. He's trying his damnedest to bring his team a win.
Yeah, Naru, another mistake for himself. He's making those mistakes. Stress was talking about it. The inconsistency is definitely popping up here for Naru in that mid lane.
1, 3, and 2 so far, responsible for more than over half the deaths on his team. Especially on a champion who has a I'm not going to die ultimate. It's a little bit problematic.
Yeah, it's not up all the time. He runs up next to the
Looks like
wall.
you're not supposed to do stuff when it's not up.
Yeah, Rampage actually do a great split there, but then yeah, he can't even flash away. Naru has flash. He's planning to flash into it and maybe Proto Belt to close the distance to get a stun if anybody stays in that area. But 100%. Perfect punish there, but they do lose Evie in the process. But they got the wave clear. I think that's the big thing there. You got rid of the wave clear. Evie looking for Zeitnot.
Zeitnot getting himself away, using the flash to survive on that one. TP channeled onto a minion, now canceled. That mid lane tier 1 turret so incredibly close to going down, but close is not gonna cut it.
Yeah, and this is what you do with this opportunity, is you try to make a play mid, you try to push them out, and try to get that turret before they get your mid turret, get something off of that. Now looking for Zeitnot.
They gotta block all these shots, and they stand in a total line. If somehow the game glitches out and one of those kills Graves, it still has to shoot through Zyra.
Then you get a remake. No.
Then you get a remake. So far, none of those at MSI 2017. We'll have to cross our fingers and hope it stays that way. Naru backing up from top side. 144 CS in the Echo, so even though he's got a little bit more deaths than he'd like, he's still farming pretty well for himself, staying relevant in the game through that CS count.
Yeah, now Ramune doing the split push thing in the bottom side, looking for some more turrets here. Still 1-1, gold very close, 500 up for Supermassive.
Ramane's the scariest guy on Rampage right now, so not surprised to see him playing that split push game, saying, hey, somebody's got to come deal with me.
Yeah, and the thing, though, is these are both 1-3-1 comps. They can both have a successful 1-3-1 depending on who has a lead. And you can see they don't really want to put Naru up against Ramune in the bottom side of the map. You also want to put your teleport on the top side as the Drake's coming up in 50 seconds. Both Evie and Fabulous don't have theirs.
And that's another Infernal Drake, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It's not some throwaway Drake that you're just like, all right, we'll give it away, who cares? In team compositions that have these high damage potentials with Lucians and Jins and Elises and Graves, these matter.
Oh, yeah. The Zyras, even the supports, really want to get in there.
Supermassive shoving up that mid lane wave, making sure that they've got priority over as much as possible. Just a couple of hits launching this tier 1. That's not even a couple. Just one little love tap from Lucian. Takes that one off the table, and they work their way over to the Drake that's spawning now in about 15 seconds. They'll establish some vision, establish some control, and wait in the pixel brush just in case somebody comes a little too close.
Taking some damage onto Evie, but also giving away their position. As the Drake comes up, now you can see Yutori working on mid priority, whereas Ramune working on top.
Ramune with
Naru.
TP. Naru with TP as well. Evie's coming up very briefly.
No, Galio just doing some zoning. Fabulous.
All right, Infernal Drake's been aggroed. Stomage does not want to wait around for this. Just says, okay, we can pull the trigger here. Fabulous going in for the taunt, able to find it onto 2. Wins the war, going to be chewing through Tussle. Gets himself away, utilizing the power of the repel. Infernal Drake's still going to be very low, but he's ejected out of the fight. It's still secured by the side of Supermassive, but Dumbledoge is hammered into the wall, sets up a double kill for Ramune. As they've found 3 on Supermassive, it's about to be 4. The crowd is roaring for this mid laner from Japan.
Ramune, shake him up. He's popping off. He got that fizz going right now. LeBlanc for Ramune, triple kill.
What an awesome job from Rampage.
And this teleport for the flank. Fabulous walks up, Dumbledoge as well, knocked into the wall, and then as Ramune makes his entrance, Evie throws the ultimate at Stomage. They panic, they have to finish this off. It does go over to Fabulous, but then the chain still connecting, and then they pick up Fabulous on the back. Instead of going for the actual Drake kill, Tussle decided it's better to go for the Zyra, finish off on the side, and went all the way around the blue buff for that fight. So he wasn't in range to smite at all, but instead he was going for the fight, and that just seems to be Japan's style. Screw objectives, let's get those kills.
Let's get them. Well, that Drake secure was the saving grace there for Supermassive. That would have been an absolute wash if they managed to lose the objective as well as the 4 kills, but Rampage now, some money in their pockets. You can see dead even between the top laners, dead even with the junglers. Oh, and Dumbledoge is Dumble done. Zeitnot now having to have some fancy feet, dodge away from these curtain call shots. They aren't going to pose a serious threat to him. But Supermassive seems to have lost their footing.
Yeah, the Gunblade completed alongside the Abyssal Scepter. 10 stack Dark Seal for Ramune. He's sitting at 2 items, but 209 AP. 45 of it being from that Dark Seal, really adding up.
This LeBlanc is just taking over this game right now. Yumu's Ghostblade and Rapid Fire Cannon also done for the Jhin, who did go for the Ninja Tabbies build this game to resist some of the damage from both the Lucian and that Graves. But he'll start to become more and more of a threat as we go on as well. Orc or not, there's still plenty of other items in this game that can make him a potent damage dealer.
He's buying attack speed, but it gives him attack damage, so he's sitting at 215 attack damage right now. Whereas the Black Cleaver not done just yet. It looks like we're seeing some collapse here.
Dara in some trouble.
May have to flash over the wall. Fabulous.
Dara
the taunt.
Flash over the wall, does get over. The taunt finds him. Stranglethorns drop down, but doesn't do a whole lot of anything. Evie now caught out, slammed around, forced to flash. Disengage from Rampage.
The crowd going wild.
They're just happy.
Feed. They really
see them slams.
They really want Rampage to win this one.
Can you blame them, though? This is the absolute best possible scenario, because then that allows their boys to be the ones who've got a very real shot at just locking in.
Exactly. The difference,
first place.
The difference, though, is Supermassive. If they win this, the worst case scenario for them, if they lose to Red Canids, is they would play a tiebreaker. So that means you'd have to lose 2 games out of 2 if you're Supermassive. You win the first, you win the second, you win. That's it. Whereas Red Canids would have to win both themselves.
That is the difference in this. A loss here
means that the tiebreaker may not even be a thing, and the winner of the Red Canids Supermassive matchup may just be the #1 team out of Group A.
Which makes that match even more hypey. That's going to be the best one of the day already.
Oh, yeah.
And the result of this game, should Rampage be able to lock this one out?
Basically, if Supermassive lose here, Red Cannons basically got a pass and don't have to win twice against Supermassive. They can do one strategy, one fell swoop. But they aren't out of the weeds just yet. Rampage have been up 5 kills to 0 against Supermassive early game. It's 10-5 right now, 5 kill difference, but it's the macro game. They're playing a 1-3-1. We'll see how the Japanese team actually handles this one.
How they utilize Ramune as a threat. The problem we saw last game.
Yep, Tussle's here.
Talon not being a threat, but now Naru.
He went back.
Burst it out, pops the chrono break with some fancy feet from Ramune, dancing around the parallel convergence. Naru flashing over the wall to escape. Gets to the safety of his team, will stay alive, expends both of those survival mechanisms to do it.
Yeah, but now, bottom side of the map, Evie pushing.
Evie creating that pressure across the way, while everybody from Supermassive is drawn towards this top side. Naru makes his way back to the base. He had to do it anyway to heal up, so he'll be the one to answer Evie.
Has a Lich Bane now. So.
But with Merc Treads and Spirit Visage on the Poppy and the natural Poppy defenses, it's still pretty hard to put a dent in.
Yeah, this becomes more of you shove up the wave as Evie and then you try to get some type of wrap around. Like you can see now.
It's starting to really sting, too.
You see the Poppy trying to look for maybe something on Lucian, who just went in onto Utori.
Utori forced to flash over the wall, still keeps his heal. Now Evie's in there, in the mix, right in the middle, but that's not where he needs to be. Getting himself caught out in a 1 versus 4.
Yeah, that's the right idea, the Poppy to be there, but everybody else needs to collapse too. That was something they were not ready for. Utori, it looks like what happened was Zeitnot went in for an E and a flash to try and deliver Galio. It's a forced Hero's entrance. Right now though,
Massive. They're the ones on the offensive. Ramune into the back line, trying to find the damage on the Dumble Doge. The chain is ticking, the damage comes out. Tussle's gonna be grabbing that one, but Ramune falls in return. That is not a trade you can make for Rampage.
Tussle.
War almost takes him down.
Almost goes down there, but that's still 4v3, and a turret gets pushed down here. The macro play, again, a disaster from Rampage when they tried to collapse. It wasn't enough.
Supermassive once again regain the lead in this game using the damage bonus from those Drakes that they've got for themselves to be victorious in these fights. Here's another look at Ramene's move to get him the kill, but get him killed.
Yeah, goes after Dumble Doge instead of Zeitnot there because it's who Tussle can reach. They get the kill, but like you said, the counter kill does come through. And this is just super sloppy from Rampage. Evie had no business engaging at that time. It's the right route. It's the wrong time. Nobody else was there to help him.
And the crowd again to inspire Rampage, say, hey, don't worry about it, get back in there and win this game. Supermassive though, whether they got the crowd or not, they've had a lot of success so far at MSI 2017. And they're not looking to have the team that is currently winless find their first win against them here. Whew. Naru taking so much damage from Ramune though.
That is the ultimate from Ramune to close that gap and prime him for a Shatter Orb. But if he's chunking you to half, you win this 1v1. You get so much pressure for your 1-3-1. Abuse that.
Rampage just not finding what they're looking for right now. Tussle tossing out any poke he can find onto Stomage's graves as he passes through. Still a very, very close game, Zyrene. Less than 500 gold separating these two teams at the 27-minute mark. The next big team fight could be what decides the course of the remainder of the game.
Yeah, and this Drake may be the one. Ramune has a flank teleport ward available to him.
He's the story of this game.
Yeah.
If Supermassive can shut him down, they can do whatever they want to do. But if he goes off, he's the one whose back is strong enough.
Yeah. And we'll see what he ends up buying next. Looks like he's going for a death cap. That's what I would assume here.
Stomach and Dumble Doge stepping up, forcing their opponents back a little bit to get down some vision if they can.
Evie's in a flank position. They could 1-3-1 collapse pinch. And Dumble Doge walked too far forward. That didn't land.
Call opens up.
Teleports. There's the flank teleport.
TV coming in from the side. Big damage could be coming in here. Naru off to the side as well. Ramune still looking for a chance to get in here whichever way he can. Fabulous with Hero's entrance also ready to go if someone's under serious threat. Rampage taking this opportunity to move into the Drake pit.
Oh, they're going to trade Drake for possibly an inhibitor turret. This is another one of those macro plays. Is this the right play from Rampage? I don't think so.
Supermassive saying, look, we can't take the Drake. We don't care about the Drake. Let's go ahead and get something that does matter. Onto the tier 3 they go. They'll take it down very, very quickly.
There's another teleport flank from Evie. They're trying to pinch them in here. If you can play your flanks right as Rampage, you may get a one fight here, and you may get a
good punish. It could be huge. Stomach down to about 20%.
Yutori
down onto Yutori, though, is not the start they needed. Stomach still alive, but Fabulous crashes himself into the ground. Ramune still looking to grab the kills, not getting anyone yet. The inhibitor goes down, and Supermassive walks away with the objective and a pickup onto the enemy AD carry.
I swear Ramune just used a Q onto a plant instead of Dumbledoge. It was possibly fatal there. Oh, just so close to actually picking something up here, but it's the wrong macro play from Rampage if they aren't going to get a good punish here. Naru obliterates Yutori.
That's the problem with the Jhin. You don't have any self-heal. You don't have any escape mechanism.
Yeah, and watch this plant here. Watch Dumbledoge. Oh, nope. But it did happen. The Q and the E from Ramune were absorbed by a plant, so he missed the point and click onto Dumbledoge for a counter kill.
Gold still very close, 2,000 separating the teams, but the big difference now, a massive amount of free pressure on the map there in the mid lane from Supermassive, as they've got those super minions spawning.
What is Ramune gonna buy? He's got 1,600 gold, 1,500 gold in his inventory. The guy still has his refillable potion. Sell the damn thing. Get yourself a control ward. Get yourself like a blasting wand, whatever you need.
Come on, Zyrene, you don't want a bottle of green drink?
No.
30 minutes into the game?
Don't need my apple drink. Come on, man. Come on. Why? I really think
there are a lot better things to put in that item slot than a bottle of green drink. 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
But who knows? He's one of the players. We're just the casters. We'll have to see what sort of a magical trick he's got up his LeBlanc sleeves.
Yeah, if that saves him, okay. But still doesn't make it the right play. Yeah. You're looking at
objective-based analysis, or results-based analysis.
There you go. Results-based, yeah. 5% chance of working.
If you land on the 5, you look really smart.
You do. You do. Anyway, everybody trying to collapse on this top lane here. Looking for that turret and Supermassive. Dumbledoge caught. They're spending a lot to get him.
They do get him, though. That's what's important. They finally find their mark. Stomach going to be the next target. Dara trying to zone him away, but the culling has been fired off. Ramune. Zeitnot looking to make something happen here. Evie going to get borked.
Ramune's off on the left side.
Slammed up into the wall. Baron Nashor even throwing a couple of attacks into the mix as Ramune falls to Naru. But there's 2 dead on the side of Supermassive. Stomach barely walking himself away from this one. Naru hanging on 2.
Both 2 for 2 in that fight.
Ramune, though, if that's the guy that dies, that's much more problematic than any other death on your team for Rampage. You've got to keep this guy going.
Yeah, Dumbledoge gets hit here by 2 bullets, and then they swap targets. Interrupt the Galio ultimate as well, but Snowmage almost connects an ultimate onto Ramune, who then goes chasing and finds himself Naru on the left side. And Fabulous re-enters. They're going over. And then he gets picked up on his way out. So the ultimate from Evie kind of put him in a bad spot.
Evie flung him into the Baron pit where his Sunfire Cape aggroed Baron. And that actually did so much damage to him.
He's got Knight's Vow now on Fabulous. Looking to find Zeitnot to hook him up.
I don't know if the Poppy specifically intended to knock him that far, but I want to believe that he did, because that was a really cool play to just do a crap ton of damage.
Well, just get the tank out of there. Get the tank line out of there.
The Baron dance continues, though.
Naru's standing on a ward, but he has a control ward that disables it. See? Looking for
Yutori.
Yutori.
Means Yutori might be in some trouble here. Taken very, very low. Naru not able to find the kill as the chrono break out. Curtain Call opens up. Evie off to the side, trying to get a couple people out of here. Curtain Call not finding anyone. It does not even put a dent in Fabulous' health bar.
But now, full HP for most members of Supermassive. The LeBlanc has to back. Ramune about to have teleport so he can TP in. Yutori not as lucky.
Yutori will not be a part of this fight. Supermassive has their chance to maybe go for something here. Naru jumping onto Tussle. This Echo, a huge damage threat, but no chrono break means he's got to be careful with how and where he jumps in. Rampage still wants to stop this Baron. It was regenerating while Supermassive tried to disengage and re-engage. They're taking it down pretty slowly. Naru trying to back. He'll have TP to make his way into the fight.
TP for a flank here. He's on the backside of Dara.
Dara and Evie could be very vulnerable. Naru comes in, he finds himself one, looking to continue on now, maybe find the second. Fabulous backing himself up. Photo gonna be used, but Naru is shut down, and that is huge. Rampage trade their support for the enemy mid laner, as Supermassive no longer can do the Baron.
No chance to chrono break there either. Straight up Jensen's right there. But that's what you need. You need that moment where everybody focuses him down. You get the CC, and you blow him up, because Naru's
way to deal with it.
We talked about how Ramune, it's his game, but there's so many squishy members on the side of Rampage that you can go after. Naru kind of has the pick of the litter.
As everybody resets.
They have a Mountain Drake. I don't know if they have the damage, though.
Stomage is over the wall. We're going to see, if nothing else, a 50-50 if this goes down all the way, but Rampage might be thinking, you know, that's the best chance we have to win this game.
It's going to be brutal.
Evie's trying to swing the hammer.
Doesn't
really get anything done with it. Tussle taken very low. Got to be careful. Stomach over the wall. Can he steal it away? No, he can't. Rampage manages to get themselves Baron Nashor, but they've already lost 3. Evie's going to be number 4, and Supermassive with a massive punish on to the Japanese representative at MSI.
Zeitnot with a triple kill, 4v5 situation with the Baron being started up. Dara is the only one who gets to walk away with that buff from Rampage. And the gold, 1,000 difference, but this middle inhibitor wide open.
The door is just left swinging open to this base, and they're about to walk in.
There's 30 seconds.
This could be the game right here. Dara has no ability to stop this on his own. Those Inner Flames will not be able to deal with the Baron. Well, there aren't any Baroned up minions. He's the only one with Baron, but
yeah,
those Inner Flames aren't going to even deal with the normal minions.
They're going to try to end it.
They've taken down Nexus turret number 1. They've moved on to Nexus turret number 2. We said their fate was in their hands, and those hands are more than capable. The Turkish team will go up to 5-0.
And now the worst case scenario is they play a tiebreaker against the Red Canids.
They've got to lose to Red Canids twice in a row.
Yep.
That's the only condition now under which they do not move on to stage 2. They've got to be feeling good about these results so far today. 2-0, 3-0 on day number 1. 1 match left to play, and if you win that one too, you're moving on and playing against either TSM or the Flash Wolves to earn your spot in the main event.
Oh, Supermassive with another early game that did not look so steady. Down 10 kills to 5 at one point.